for waiting. Please, we're back live now. Um, yes. Okay. Okay. I'm waiting for a few more people to join. Good evening, everyone. How are we doing today? Good evening, everyone. We had a few technical issues previously. You have to forgive me. It's my first time going live, and so I think I did not foresee some issues. So yes, good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening. How are we doing? So remember that there is a giveaway today. Actually, I have three people that I'm going to give stuff to. Yes, good evening, everyone. Okay, quickly, welcome to my YouTube channel. If you are new here, my name is Bisola Badejo. This is my video podcast series. 2 weeks ago, June 16th to be precise, I released my first video, How to Master Many Trades. And today is going to be a live session, Q&A session. And that will be the modality of this podcast channel going forward. I'll do a video recording and I'll post it up. Then 2 weeks after, I'll do a live Q&A session in response to that video recording. It's going to be bi-monthly for now. That's twice in a month. But going forward after some time, after we get our footing, we'll do it every week. So a video comes out and the next week we do a live Q&A session. So welcome today. Good evening. How are we doing? I'm so excited to have you guys here. I put out a link earlier today. You can check my Instagram page for the link and send in your questions if you still have questions. If we have time, because I already have a bit of questions here, if we have time, I will take more questions. That's one. Two, there is a giveaway happening today. The three people out of the numbers of people that downloaded the Microvest app will be going away with 10,000 naira. 10,000 naira. Isn't that amazing? So wait till the end of the video, wait to the end of the live show so that can get you can have a chance to partake in this giveaway. So let's quickly get to it. How to master many trades was my first video, and I know it got a lot of views for a first video. In fact, I was beginning to wonder okay, what exactly I was saying. The combination of skill and grace, really. Presently counting at 5+ views, going to 6K now. If you've not watched it, you should. It's a phenomenal video. And trust me, it is just the tip of the iceberg on what I know in mastering many trades. In fact, I've changed my mind now. I'm not going to go back to the link to get questions. I'm going to get questions from people that are on this live show, so that's after I read through the questions of people that had sent questions earlier. When we are done, I'll take one or two questions from the comment section. So let's quickly get into it. How to master many trades. Can you tell me in the comment section what stood out to you most in that video? What had you heard before but you never seen that way? What have you never heard? What have you even begun to practice immediately? I want to see. I'm looking at the comment section and I want to know. I want your opinion. Let me know what you're saying. Let me know what you're saying. While I wait for your questions, um, I'm going to take the first one. The first question I got was, at what point does someone consider themselves a master? I can't seem to see any comments in the comment section. Okay. Okay. Like I said, let me know what stood out to you in the live video. Um, going to go straight into the questions so that we have time to take more questions after I'm done. The first one is, at what point does one consider themselves a master? At what point does one consider themselves a master? And I'm going to answer this question first with a story. Like, I'm a storyteller. So, I had this staff and mentee at my last job. He's a guy, he's an engineer, one of my very best staff. He's really good. He's so organized, he has attention to detail. And if you know how engineers are supposed to be, engineers are supposed to have attention to detail. And this guy is brilliant. So when I left my previous company, he reached out to me that he had applied for a job at another organization. And luckily for him, the country head of that organization, the country head of that organization is my friend. And so I called her and I said, I have a mentee and a former staff that is going to apply to your company. He's really good. He's very efficient. And she's like, okay, she has seen his interview. In fact, she had even interviewed him in the first stage, and he really impressed her that for the second stage, they are going to ask him more questions, and she hopes he gets it. And so after the second stage, she calls me back and she says, this guy is really good, but he doesn't know how to use Excel. That's Microsoft Excel. And that she asked him in the interview that how will he rate himself, his proficiency level on Excel? And he said 7. He said 7 over 10. And then she said, 7 over 10, fine. And then she gave him some things to do. He could not even do formulas on Excel. Can you imagine? And he said it was 7 over 10. Why? And she was like, he's not good. That's if you can't do formulas, you can't add 1 plus 1 on Excel. You are not at a 2 level. So if you see yourself 1 to 10, you're at a 2. And then I didn't say anything to him. She said, and it just made why I'm telling you that story is, but by the way, he still got the job actually because he can always learn Excel. Excel is one of those skills that you can learn on the job, and he is an engineer. He's good with technical skills, like she said. What he needed to improve upon was his managerial and administrative and data analysis skills. So why did I tell you that story? Because some people have an underestimation of expert level. They have an underestimation of expert level because they don't even know the full function of that software. This mentee, this staff of mine, did not know the full function of what Excel could do. He thought Excel was just for data entry. And that's the reason why he said he was 7 over 10. Do you understand? So the first thing you must know in becoming a master is that you must identify the full range of that skill. What is the highest level? Am I deceiving myself? Can Excel build models? Can it run programs? Can it run programs? And all I know is data entry. Do you understand? That's what you need to know. You need to identify the highest level of that skill. Mastery is defined as the best mastery is defined as having great skill or total dominance over something. When you have great skill or total dominance over something, over an endeavor, that is what mastery is called. So if you are going to gain mastery in French, if I say rate yourself beginner, intermediate, expert in speaking French, bonjour, bonjour is beginner. Comment ça va? Ça va bien, merci. Et toi? That is beginner level. Je m'appelle Bisola. That's beginner level French. But if I can converse with a snotty Parisian shop clerk, when I'm trying to buy a dress or a bag, then I call myself expert level at speaking French. Do you understand? So that's what you need to know. The first thing you must know is you must identify the full range of that skill. So you will not be like that, my mentee, that does not know that Excel is not only for data entry. He felt Excel was just for data entry. He didn't know that you can run programs on Excel and do modeling. And he gave himself a 7 over 10. So you will not be able to judge your mastery, first of all, if you don't know the full extent of the range of skills in that endeavor. So that's the first thing you must do. Now, number two, you must honestly audit your self proficiency. You must honestly audit your self proficiency in that skill. So, after you've identified your range in that skill, you must honestly audit your self proficiency. How good are you? Honestly, because some people are not honest. You know what we do in our CVs where they say, how good are you? How many languages can you speak? You see people put English, French, Yoruba. Meanwhile, the last time they spoke French was in secondary school. Et toi, bonjour, bonjour, bonsoir, bonsoir, bon chance, bon chance. That's all they know in French. But they are giving themselves a 20 over a 20. So you must honestly be able to audit your self-proficiency in that skill after you've identified your range. I'll give a simple example. I can drive. I can drive. I even consider myself a very good driver. But you see, those guys that do drifting on Kaduna Abuja Road can also drive. Do you understand? And finally, a NASCAR driver can also drive. So, what is the difference between my level of mastery as a driver and the Kaduna drifters and then a NASCAR driver? What's the level of proficiency? I can drive in Lagos. I've been driving in Lagos for over 10 years. So I'm a very good driver to drive in Lagos. Do you understand? But those Kaduna guys that drift and drive with manual and turn their cars in different flips, they can also drive. In fact, decide to speed with me on Third Milan Bridge. They will have gotten to Berger before I reach Ogudu. But a NASCAR driver can also drive. So you must honestly audit your self proficiency. At the range of these skills, where am I? Where am I? Where am I? Do you understand? Where am I? Where do I measure up? If they are going to say this is how good you are, where do I measure up? Honestly audit your self proficiency. Number three, keep learning and practicing. See, there's no way you will master a skill that you stop learning. That's the truth. The day you stop learning, you die. So don't think that you become a master and then you stop learning. You can be very good, but there's someone out there better than you. With the example that I gave, me driving, Kaduna boys driving, and a NASCAR driver driving. Do you understand? There's always someone out there better than you. Trust me. So how do you now consider yourself a master when you realize that there are some things that you do not know? But the ones that you know very well, and you can explain it to a 6-year-old. But you must also realize that there are things out there that you do not know. And there are people out there that are better than you. And so you can learn from them. That is when you are a master. A master knows how good he is, and a master knows his limitations. Those are the two things that you must know. So I will reiterate the three things I said. The first is you must identify the full range of skills that you have to learn. Number two, you must honestly self-audit your proficiency. And number three, you must keep learning and practicing. A master knows what he can do and knows what he still needs to do. That's who a master is. A fool is someone that knows not and knows not that he knows not. If you think you know and you do not know, then you are a fool. But if you know and you know that there are some things that you do not know, then you are a master. That's the answer to the first question. Now, the second question is, how do you avoid falling into stagnation after reaching a certain level of mastery? How do you avoid falling into stagnation after reaching a certain level of mastery? It's the last thing I said. Keep learning and practicing. Anybody that stops learning will die. Anything that stops improving will die. Your body, what sustains it is that your cells keep multiplying every day. The day your cells stop multiplying, you are dead. The day your cells stop multiplying, you are dead. Anything that does not continually evolve and grow and learn and improve is dead. There is no skill that remains the same. Like I said, 2 years after, and someone corrected me, that is 18 months now. 18 months after your graduation, your certificate becomes obsolete. Meaning that if you entered 100 level to do electrical engineering, by the time you get to 300 level, what you learned in 100 level is old news. And for some of us that are fortunate enough to school in Nigeria, where they are teaching you Pentium 700 in a time where Intel i7 has come up, for you to know that you must continually improve yourself. So that is how you avoid stagnation. A master, like I said, is someone that knows and knows his limitations. Say the screen is frozen. Please let me know. I'm seeing comments that the screen is frozen. Are you online? Is it back? Please let me know if the screen is still frozen. It's not frozen here. Okay. Okay, it's back now. Thank you very much. So, number three question, I don't know. Number three question is, how do you effectively master trades that are not along the same line? How do you effectively master trades that are not along the same line? And this person gives example, finance, fashion, administration. Let me even tell you something. I think finance, fashion, and administration can be combined. And I will tell you how later. Finance, fashion, and administration, they can be combined. Trust me. They can be combined. Do you understand? So, think about it like this. First of all, the way you can master trades that do not align is by scheduling. The first point in the video, apportion your time. If you are trying to learn fashion, finance, administration, let's have 3 hours in a day, every day. 1 hour for fashion, 1 hour for finance, 1 hour to learn administration, and repeat it every day. Trust me, by the end of the year, you would have had 365 hours in fashion, 365 hours learning finance, and 365 hours learning administration. You would never be the same. You would actually never be the same. Where you started from and where you're going to, there will be a change. Do you understand? Now, second, the next way is connect creativity. Like I said, fashion, finance, and administration can be combined. Can be combined. Believe me, it can. I think we need to learn the difference between support skills and creative skills. And support skills always go hand in hand with creative skills. There is something that many creatives need to learn, and it is the business of their creativity. If you are doing fashion and you don't know finance and administration, you will be cheated. If you are doing music and you don't know the business of music, you will be cheated. If you are writing books and you don't know the business of books, you will be cheated. You will not sell your books in the first place. So see, there are some skills that everybody must learn: how to market, how to do your finances, how to be administratively organized. Those three skills are very important and vital for every creativity, for every creative. Do you understand? So believe me, if I'm a fashion designer, it is very important for me to learn finance. I must be able to know profit and loss. I must be able to calculate my costs and my expense. So if I buy this material for 6,000 naira, what is my labor worth per hour? I will calculate it. How many hours did I spend to sew this dress? If I say my labor is worth 2.5 per hour and I spend 5 hours to sew this dress, that's 2.5 times 5. That's 12.5. right? Am I right? No, 25 times 2.5 is 12.5. 25 times 5 is 105 or something. I can't remember why my math is failing me. But do you understand what I'm saying? So that is why you need to learn those skills. Finance skills are important, administrative skills are important, and marketing skills are important. So trust me, if you think that you are a fashion designer and you don't need to learn finance, administration, and marketing, you even need to learn brand communication. You need to learn people management. Can you see why it's important to master many trades? Do you understand me now? So I've told you how you can learn the three at the same time. It's simple scheduling, it's simple timetable. In secondary school, like I said in my last video, maths, English, physics, chemistry, biology don't necessarily intertwine, but you learned everything because you had a timetable. So apportion if it's 45 minutes, if it's 1 hour in your day to each of these skills, at the end of 1 year, you will have invested 365 hours in each of those skills. Trust me, you are well on your way to being a master. Now, number three question is this. How active do you advise an individual to be on social media if you want to master many traits? The problem of our generation is Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. Those three things can waste your life. But you see, there are some people that their life is actually on Instagram. The traits they want to master are right there on YouTube. So it's just knowing your priorities. If there are things that you're supposed to be doing and are eating into the time that, and social media is eating into the time that you're supposed to be investing in learning those skills, then put an end to it. In the next episode, I'm going to teach you how to schedule, and I'm going to teach you using three tools. Um, the to-do list, the Gantt chart, and the Google Calendar. Those are my hacks to scheduling. And I'm going to teach you how to do it. This will help you manage your time on social media. And you add a dollop of discipline, of listening to your scheduling. Because many of us will schedule and don't listen to it. I understand, trust me. You know, there's this limit you set on your iPhone to let you know how many number of hours you spent on Instagram or social media or any app you choose. And then when that timer comes, you put a password. Me, I put a password and I gave my husband the password. I asked him for it. I asked him for the password and I opened it myself. Social media will not kill us. But do you understand? So it is a scheduling tool. Apportioning time to social media. In my schedule, social media is 8:30 to 9:30, 2:30 to 3:30, and at night before I sleep. Even though they say I should stop looking at social media at night before I sleep. I try my best with all my heart to adhere to this schedule. And God is helping me. And God will help you too. But you must always have priorities. Sometimes when my phone reminds me that I spent 12 hours on social media, I'll say to myself, Bisola, you've not written today. You've not read today. You've not done any concrete work today. Do you understand? So you must have priorities. I think prioritizing what you need to do would help in controlling the number of hours you spend on social media. So number one, you must schedule. Put a time limit on social media on your phone and adhere to it. Give the password to someone that will not give you. Because my husband, he loves me, and so he gave me the password. Somebody that after I beg him, should not have given me. Now he gave it to me. I know the password that will open it when I want to watch it. So give it to somebody that does not love you, so that you'll be able to adhere to it. Then three, priorities. Set your priorities right. Now, the fourth question is, what's your best hack for working with people and also emotional intelligence? What's your best hack for working with people and also emotional intelligence? My first hack for working with people is understanding the three magic words. Please, thank you, and sorry. Because if you work with me before, I will offend you. And this is why I will offend you. If you work with people, you will offend people. Me, I will offend you. Because my name is Bisola Badejo and I'm a recovering perfectionist. I like things being done my way, and I'm also a recovering control freak. I'm trying to learn to understand that not everybody operates the same way. That's the reason why we have fingers that is not equal. And that's why life is colorful. If everybody was like me, the world would be black and white. World will be only black. We only have one color. Everybody cannot be like you. So that's the first thing you must know. Please, thank you, and sorry. Because those three things will help you and it will go a long way when you work with people. The fact that you must learn how to apologize when you offend people. The fact that no matter what level that person is, if the person is junior to you, senior to you, or your mate, say please when you're asking for something to be done. And say thank you, well done, when it is done well. Those three things are very important. That's what I do. I will say sorry. I will call you and tell you sorry if I shout at you for not doing the work that you're supposed to do for me. Do you understand? So those three things, that's number one. Number two, you must understand that life is a myriad of personalities. Understand people's personalities and understand how they work, how they operate. I have a low attention span when I'm working. Meaning if you are talking to me and I'm busy, I might not hear you. So the best way to get my attention is to send me a mail or send me a written note. Do you understand? Send me a written note or write it down or tap me if my mind has gone. But it's something I'm trying to learn. In fact, when we did the 360 review at my last organization, all my line report said, Ma, you need to listen more. Ma, you need to listen more. That was the feedback. So you need to know your weaknesses, know your strengths, know your blind spots. Don't think you are perfect. And understand where people are better than you. I know myself very well. I know my weaknesses. I know my strengths. I know my blind spots. And I know the weaknesses and strengths of those who work with me. The first thing I do is always try to observe who this person is. How best does this person function? How best can I communicate to this person? I have an employee, I think, or someone that reports to me. He was on this live a bit ago. He doesn't like sending mails. He doesn't like to write. He always likes to come to my office to talk to me and waste my time. As far as I'm concerned, he's wasting my time. But as far as he's concerned, that's the only way he can get me to understand what he's saying, to see it the way it is purpose him. He wants face-to-face contact. I don't want to call his name, but he knows himself. So there are different kinds of people. Maybe there are those that don't like to talk, they just want to write. Understand different personalities in a workplace and know how to relate with them. Number two is social intelligence. There's a lot of talk on emotional intelligence, but little people talk about social intelligence. There is a way to relate in a diverse cultural organization. We are in Nigeria. We have a myriad of cultures. So yes, maybe you work for a multinational organization that says that name calling, first name calling is how they want to relate. But you are in Nigeria and your boss is a Yoruba man that has three daughters at home and you walk into his office and call him Gbadebo. Your KPI will hear, your appraiser will hear. And even if you just find out that the office is not conducive for you. So you need to understand social intelligence. How do I talk to a woman in the office? How do I talk to a man in the office? How do I talk to a Yoruba man? How do I talk to a Japanese man? There's this episode of Suits. Louis Litt wanted to sign a Japanese client. He went to make tea, brought the map of the guy's hometown, wore the guy's clothes because Japanese people like their culture. And he was doing their sayonara, putting his head down for them. Do you understand? You must understand social intelligence. How do you interact across culture? Understand that. That's very important with working with people. And finally, give, appreciate, and commend. Don't be a stingy boss. Don't be stingy. Don't be stingy. If people do well, give them what they deserve. Appreciate them. Commend them. Understand that people look at appreciation differently. Some people are working for money. Some people don't care about money. They want you to acknowledge their work. Me, if I work for you and you don't acknowledge me, if you don't tell me thank you, oh, this what you did is nice, I won't feel appreciated. I'll feel like I've wasted all my efforts. Do you understand? So give, acknowledge and commend. Know what each person sees appreciation as. Those that are working with you. There are some that see it as compliments, some see it as gifts, some people see it as Friday happy hour. There are some people that if they work with you and you've not done Friday happy hour, they are not happy. So Understand people. That's just the key thing. And put those things to action. There's a book I think I should recommend, How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. It's a brilliant book on working with people. I read it a while back, and I think you should too. So, those are all the questions I have for today. So, I'm going to take one or two more questions. One or two more questions before I go off. If you have questions, type them in the comment section. I'm going to be waiting. How do I know which of the okay? How do I so I have two questions here. The first one is, how do I know which of the many skills to focus on? Okay, so the first thing I do is I list out 10 things that I think I want to learn or things that I'm good at. Then I go online and I write what skills will be relevant in the next 10 years. If any of the skills that I think I'm good at are not remotely connected to any of the skills that are relevant in the next 10 years, cancel it. Don't do any of them. Don't waste your time learning it. Don't waste your time learning it. So that's what should help you. Like I said, you don't want to become obsolete. You want to adapt to changing trends. You want to be relevant. That's how you know what skills to focus your time and energy on. Then two, how do I personally stay motivated and prevent burnout as you pursue mastery in different trades? My dear, schedule rest. Rest. Rest is important, super important. See, there are some days that I know that I've worked. You know what I do? I lock myself in my room, stay on the bed, off all the lights, and watch Netflix. I binge it. I know, even myself, I know that I've done nothing on that day. But sometimes it's necessary. So you must schedule rest. You must schedule rest. You must understand when you need to rest. Number two, people that are type A tend to put a lot of pressure on themselves. Don't put too much pressure on yourself. Let's do you understand? Don't put too much pressure on yourself. Understand at the end of the day, all these things they are learning is vanity. The only thing that is most important is that you see God in heaven and God will tell you, well done. So when I teach productivity, I'm going to have an episode teaching productivity. When I teach productivity, I will talk about this, working well under pressure. Because a lot of us say I work well under pressure, but we actually do not. Because what you are using is your brain juice. That behavior that does not allow you prepare for an exam and is until the last minute. That's when your brain will come into attack mode and you begin to work. That's what leads you to burnout. So you must understand that you must plan your time well and work it effectively. When I teach productivity, very soon this will be answered well. So balancing spiritual skills is a long conversation, but I must say one thing first, and I will teach this with productivity. I want you to know the next episode is going to be on scheduling. After that, I'll teach a whole session, a series on productivity. But you must know this as a Christian, that if you are productive in all areas and you've not prayed and studied the Bible, you are not productive at all. Productivity from the belief for the believer stems from Christ first. Know this and know this well. So thank you very much. That will be the last question for today. That will be the last question for today. I'm going to give out one gift, one gift today, one gift for one person. There are still two other people, but I can't seem to find their names now. So I will share that on my social media. But one person that downloaded the app, used the referral code, and put in 5,000 naira. One person is Kela Usiayo. Kela Usiayo, you are going to win 10,000 naira. 10,000. 10,000 naira, 10,000 naira. Free for you. I have two other winners, but I'll be calling them in the next episode. I have two other winners, and I'll be calling them in the next episode. But Kella is winning 10,000 naira today. Kella, reach out to me at Bisola Badejo on Instagram, Twitter, and anywhere the internet is. Kella has won 10,000 naira. So thank you so much, everybody. Next episode will be dropping in 2 weeks, and it will be on scheduling. I'm teaching you how to schedule with 3 tricks: using a to-do list, using a Gantt chart, and using the Google Calendar. That's the way I organize my life. Trust me, I do so many things, and the way I organize my life is through those 3 things. There are 3 levels of scheduling for me, and those are the 3. Thank you very much for joining. Leave a comment, watch this video again and again, and see you in 2 weeks.